What's going on, YouTube? This is Ricky J. So it's been 24 hours since I seen the new gameplay footage for EA Sports UFC 5, and I wanted to come on here to give you guys my honest thoughts on what I saw. Now, on this channel, I got to tell you, I'm not affiliated with any company. This channel is just a hobby, man. I've said this so many times. So I'm going to come on here and give you guys my honest thoughts on a game that I love, a series that I love, but what I saw is very disappointing, man, I gotta say. The gameplay footage that we saw in that trailer, it looks the same, man. It looks the same. With this new Frostbite engine, and especially after 3 years of development, I expected to see a whole new look to this franchise. And when I was looking at it, I was seeing UFC 4, man. I was seeing UFC 4. The models look the same. The animations, for the most part, I know there's some new punching animations and kicking animations. We haven't seen it all, right? So hopefully we see more. But from what I saw, it looks very similar to UFC 4. And the models look the same, man. I was thinking to myself, what was I expecting? But I was expecting a whole new look to this game with updated graphics, next generation consoles only. This game's only available for next gen consoles. But what I saw was a game from 3 years ago. You know, I know they added the new cinematic replays, the damage system, but it just seems like the fighters move the same way. The footwork looks the same. And the guys are kind of, sliding around the octagon. It just doesn't look like they're flowing realistically. That's just my view. And I'm being completely honest. I'm not bashing the game. I'm just being real with you guys here. So, I don't know, man. I'm just very disappointed in what I saw. I'm hoping things will change. But I don't want to be playing a game that looks and feels the same as the previous edition. You know what I mean? Or the previous game. You know what I'm talking about? Like, I want to see a whole new video game, especially 3 years later. There has to be some change. Like in UFC 1 to UFC 2, we saw a huge change, man. UFC 2 was the best in the series, in my opinion. For me, I had the most fun. Then they changed it to a more realistic feel in UFC 3, and UFC 3 was great too. So fun to watch, especially the high-level guys duking it out in the ESFL. It was great. But then UFC 4, I felt like it took a step back. And now they did the right thing, giving us 3 years of some downtime to maybe change things up, overhaul the game. And I feel like it's the same game. I know they added referee stoppages, but for me, the referee stoppages, that's aesthetics, man. That's just adding to what you're seeing. Draws should always have existed in the game. And then as far as the career mode, so I'm big on offline career mode. Why would you bring back Coach Davis? Like, we've done Coach Davis in UFC 4. They should have changed it entirely. I honestly believe that they should have added a story mode like in Fight Night Champion. Like, picture this, okay? This is what I was thinking while I was walking my dog. They should have had a story mode where you control a broken down fighter and a guy that has gone through so much in his life. You know, his girlfriend breaks up with him. Maybe, I'm just saying a scenario. His parents sadly pass away. He has 2 kids, and he's trying to make it. He's always fighting in these shows where he's not getting the recognition that he deserves, and then he meets somebody like, I don't know, let's say he meets Adesanya or like a John Jones, and they help him through the ranks. They help him grow as a fighter, and he has to overcome all these trials and tribulations to one day make it. And then they have you fighting in these lower tier shows. They even have you taking part in a street fight as they dial back your past, your dark past that you've been through. And then they, for the player, they create a sense of emotion that you're feeling through this character that you're controlling. and then they take you part into a story mode like no other, where you're trying to change this guy's life into becoming an UFC champion. I feel like it should have been like that, like in Fight Night, where you control Andre Bishop and you kind of feel sorry for the guy throughout the course of the story mode. They should have that, where you dive into this imaginary world of a made-up fighter. It doesn't have to be a real fighter. A made-up fighter that has to go through hell and back to get to the top. I feel like that would capture the hearts of more people playing the game, instead of kind of giving us almost like the same kind of premise where you have the coach and he introduces you to Shevchenko and then you move up in the rankings. They should have done it differently, where you're the main character of a broken down fighter trying to make it in this very hard world of mixed martial arts. That's just my opinion. So as a whole, I'm making this video just to be completely honest with you. I am disappointed in what we've seen so far. I expected more. And for you guys that follow me, you know that I'm not one to complain. I'm not one to, cry about things. I'm very optimistic when it comes to things that are coming out. I always like to give the benefit of the doubt, but I want to see more, expected more. And I don't know if we're going to see it, man, but I want to know your thoughts. We have not yet seen the online career mode, so we're still waiting for that. But I just expected a lot more in this video after 3 years of not having a game. And for you guys that know me on this channel, when I first started gaining traction on this channel, I was doing UFC. I was loving it. UFC 2, UFC 3, and then UFC 4, I was disappointed with it. And then it got to the point where I stopped playing the game and I ventured on to making boxing videos, wrestling videos, Royal Rumbles, and then other combat sports games. And I really would love to tie in EA Sports UFC 5 into the mix of my videos, but if it's a disappointment, I'm not going to hang around, man. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going to hang around. Like I said, this is not my full-time gig, so if I'm not enjoying something, I'm not going to force myself to play it if it's not up to par, especially for next generation gaming. So that's just my honest thoughts, man. I am taking the gloves off and just being real with you. I want to know your thoughts on what I said in this video. Okay, guys, it's Ricky J. I'll see you next time, man. Take care.